47 on Oxlight with Sparky3. Hope you're having a phenomenal day today, whatever day you're watching or listening to this podcast. No Zach in here today. He had some stuff come up with work, but as normal, we do have John here. John, how you doing? How you feeling?
Motherfucker, my hair was tied back fine, and right before we went going, it all came out.
All came loose?
It all came forward. So it is what it is.
Yeah. As someone else with long hair, I understand. You just got to make it work.
I was like, fuck it, let's just take care of it today.
No.
Fine, sitting right here, and I'm like, as soon as you hit the music, like, half of it came forward. I'm like, God damn it.
It's like, it is what it is. We're just going to keep on rocking with it. I understand. Trust me. I get it. You know, I have like random strands come out all the time and just come loose. Yeah. I'm like, gosh, blast.
I'm just getting back to that point.
Yeah. You'll get there. You'll get back to the long locks that you had, however long ago that was, like a year or so ago. So, friendly reminder right off the bat before I forget about it for today's episode is that the show will be on a scheduled break the next 2 weeks. I will be out of state, and I didn't want to make the boys, come in and do the show because I feel like I do that a lot. I feel like I'm the host of the show, and I feel like I miss the show more than both of you combined. So I feel bad. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to burden anyone with the show. So we will be back on October 14th to talk about whatever we're going to talk about. And then, of course, October 21st when we are back as well. That will be Spider-Man 2, which has gone gold. Shout out to that. Very excited for that release. But for today's episode, we do have a very interesting topic because for the longest time, anytime we've chat about the NVIDIA leak, I've always dubbed it the biggest video game leak in history because really it was. I mean, the amount of unconfirmed games that were on that list that ended up being confirmed is unreal. But now we've encountered what's now the new biggest leak in gaming history, in my opinion, because this is a lot of confidential information from Xbox involving the future of Xbox, and whether it be a mid-gen refresh or even the next console entirely in 2028 or beyond. Lots of other random tidbits, new controller and everything. So we're going to touch on that. John hasn't had a chance to do any more Payday 3, even though I did have that in the top because Zach was supposed to be here. But we will touch on it.
Still wanted to touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, we will touch on it. No Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe one of the boys will chat about it when we come back from break. And then we do a follow-up with Unity involving that whole situation that we talked about last week as well. Make sure to go check us out at our website, spark3.com. You can join the Discord down below. Check out Agent Inc., Rogue Energy. Use our referral links for both of those down below. And we'd appreciate that extra support. Flip over here to two cams. Turn that down.
I was going to say as well, because I did... There was a bunch of little things that happened this week as far as like there were some more games that came out. Liza P.
Yeah, Liza P did
came
come out.
Yep. Cyberpunk had its 2.0 update before its
Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, Phantom Liberty. The expansion comes out, and I like I kind of told you before. I tried some of these things. I didn't get far enough into to really make a point, and I did try Liza P. You saw, yeah. I threw a message in Discord as well. I gave it like a solid couple hours of playing it. Man, I suck at Souls-like games.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at them.
See, the little bit I've played of Souls-like games, I am as well. And that really scares me for one of our most anticipated games next year.
We're
Black Myth Wukong.
We're gonna suck. But we're gonna play it.
I'm really scared for that game.
Honestly, it's half the reason that I was like, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and play one of these games and get decent at it.
Yeah, like I feel you. Like there's got to be one that I have to sit down and actually really try to play because I really want to completely go through Black Myth Wukong, but I am really scared.
We've only been following it for
since it's
a couple years now.
Yeah, it got randomly announced in 2020. We've been following it and with excitement ever since, but. I'm with you, my guy. I am not good at Souls games, and I need to get a little bit better.
But yeah, with Liza P, the little bit that I played of it, I mean, it seems really interesting. I don't know. I almost kind of want to just push past it and make this might get my Souls like that. I'm like, fuck it, just get good on it.
Right.
So I might end up doing it, but I don't know. So far, I put, like I said, maybe 2 hours into it, and man. At the end of that 2 hours, I was mad.
Right. Yeah. I tried the demo, and I got my shit wrecked in that demo as well for that game. So I feel you. I feel you, my guy.
Yeah,
Steve, what are you asking? I don't know what he's asking.
I did take down the first boss and start making my way to uh I, another boss. I don't know which.
Yeah,
I don't know how the game really plays. I didn't
Right.
make my way pretty like what felt like a decent ways in, but I was probably nowhere. I was probably like 6 feet away from the hotel or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, I did give it a shot. Probably will come back to it at some point.
Okay. And for anyone listening, whether if you're listening live, watching the video after the fact, listening to the podcast version, comment on the video, hit me up on Twitter at AlexLight23, join the Discord and message us. If there's Souls players listening, give John and I a recommendation on where to start so we can get ready for Black Myth Wukong. Give us a game that we could potentially go through and have a challenge, but not want to beat our skulls against the wall.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, because we're like we've said, we're gonna have to figure it out at some point.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. John and I both are trash bags in Souls
Yes.
games. Yep. Not good. Not good. We need to find the right game for the right starting point to get used to that. Because if Black Myth Wukong comes out, I can't speak for John this, but I imagine he'll relate. And I am absolutely terrible to the point that I don't want to play that game. I will be devastated because I'm so excited for that game.
Oh no, I've known the whole time
Yeah.
what that game was gonna be,
Yeah,
and I've
me
resigned
too.
myself to before it comes out. I'm gonna have to beat my head against a wall in one of these.
Yeah. Steve says Bloodborne. That's one that a lot of people say is Bloodborne. So that might be the one we need to hit up.
Not good at that either.
Have you tried Bloodborne?
I've tried it.
Okay. See, I haven't
I didn't
tried
make it very far.
I have not tried Bloodborne. But a lot of people, would say Bloodborne. And then there's all the Bloodborne fans that are very patiently waiting for the next generation patch that may never come. They just want 60 FPS, man. That's all they want. Is that too much to ask? Apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, it is too much to ask. No, he also tried Starfield again.
Oh yeah, I did
Yep.
keep playing Starfield.
Yeah, did try Starfield again.
Just to see if I would enjoy the game more. And
Enjoy it less.
I don't know if it just made me. I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's just the game or I haven't found the part like the storyline or the made it far enough to have the switch just kind of flip on me.
Right.
But I don't know. It's something about the pacing of it where going between objectives just is nothing happens in between.
Yeah.
I started trying to mess with the outpost stuff, thinking maybe that'll have some fun for me.
Yeah, I tried that too.
No, that irritated me. But no, it's one where I think it's just it's not the time for me.
Right.
This is
Not the time or just not the game for you.
it could be either. It's hard. It could be not the game. It's because I think at this point I've realized it's not the combat. I think it's the pacing. Because it's like
Yeah,
you have-
combat's phenomenal.
Yeah, you have like you talk to some people
Yeah.
and then you have to travel to the objective, and the traveling part takes a while.
Yep.
Even with fast traveling, once you get to the planet, everything's so spaced out apart that it takes a while to get there. So I think it's a pacing problem for me,
Yeah.
which maybe will be more resolved if I come back to it later and I don't find such an issue with it.
Right. And plus with more updates and mods to come and stuff like that. Because like in terms of what you said, it's like when you get to the place that you're going to and it's still so far apart, whatever. Like that's been one complaint people have with just like the main city and stuff. He was just like, yeah, good job. You built like quote unquote the biggest city you've ever built, but it's like such a mess. I don't know where I'm going because like there's no map for it. Which is wild to me. They don't have like a map of the city necessarily. Like they have like a little mini map and stuff,
Yeah.
Like they always that's always been a staple in their games to help you locate stuff like within like Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout, etc. And like that's not here. And it's just like, is this like the city you claim it's the biggest, but it's like the biggest in sections. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you go
it-
section to
it-
section. You can't just seamlessly go between it. You have to take a monorail or do whatever.
The city in particular is where I think the idea of go explore and find it went a little too far.
That's fair. That's very fair.
It's like, I don't care if you're gonna separate everything out into different sections of the city and that. Give me a fucking map of it.
Right. Yeah.
To help me locate where I'm going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the game itself, the core game combat and everything, I still enjoy. It's just everything in between.
Right.
Everything in between I'm not enjoying as much, so I think I'm officially setting it to the side for now.
Yeah. I mean, I've already officially set it to the side.
Actually, I could say I probably officially set it to the side because I did start my Cyberpunk playthrough.
True.
I did start my character and start my playthrough for 2.0 and the expansion.
Yeah, which 2.0 did drop Thursday. It is for free if you have next generation stuff. I don't believe 2.0 is out for PS4 and Xbox One. I also started a new playthrough. I'm looking forward to actually playing it. I have not got very far. I haven't even got to the point where the heist goes wrong. I haven't even got that far. Like I barely played an hour. But like immediately the first thing that I can say is that the game does just look so much better. Like just general like facial style. I saw side by side shots of like Johnny Silverhand before 2.0 and now the new 2.0, and it's just like before it just looks like a blob that looks like Keanu Reeves, and now it literally looks like Keanu Reeves in the game. And I've seen the side by side shots. It's like, damn, I thought the game like had good graphics before, but this is astonishing with how different it is.
It's hard to tell for me because I went from I have a much better computer now that I'm playing on.
Yeah.
So I went from playing on like medium and some low settings to everything's cranked to ultra. So it already looks like a new game to me.
Yeah, no, I mean it looks completely different, and I'm looking forward to actually playing through and getting to experience all the new stuff, new skill trees, all the different apartments that you can rent and purchase and everything. Like just getting to experience the game that we should have got in 2020. What the hell is 2.0? 2.0 is the big update for Cyberpunk. It's the free update.
It's revamping a lot of the systems.
Yeah.
The skill system got redone. Perk trees got redone.
Yep.
To the point where if you already had a character made and like launch the game, you get the option to refund everything and look back through it.
Yes. Cyberpunk 2.0 is essentially the game that we should have got in 2020.
Yeah. They've revamped how like the cop system, the way
system's
the way
completely different,
interactions and stuff had it. It's not supposed to be like just police spawning anymore. You actually see them out in the world. They're actually interacting with like some of the gangs and stuff going on. Supposed to be the alive world that we were promised before.
Yeah. So, the one thing about the 2.0 dropping and Phantom Liberty coming out next week, and all the reviews have come out for Phantom Liberty expansion, is that like a lot of people giving it 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10, stuff like that. And 2.0, like the reviews are glowing. And now Cyberpunk has it already kind of did with all the continuous updates they made, but now with the official 2.0 out and with Phantom Liberty coming out, Cyberpunk can officially be added to the shelf of games that have made an incredible comeback. It's up there on the shelf with the Final Fantasy 14s of the world, the No Man's Sky of the world, Master Chief Collection.
You think of when the game came out, it had there were like 80,000 reviews on Steam, and it was overwhelmingly negative.
Yep,
it's got almost 600,000 reviews right now, like verging on overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it's a comeback story.
It's like I checked earlier. It's one of the top played games right now after 2.0. There was 140,000 people playing it on Steam,
right?
Like concurrently, which, I mean, hell, it's like a lot of games don't see those numbers on Steam outside of a release or like big content drop.
Yeah.
Which, granted, there was a big content drop and it's got a DLC coming, but it's also maintained itself in like the top 100 on Steam for a long time.
Yeah. And, I'm glad to see that it fully made its comeback because like I've been saying about the game day one, it was never a bad game. It was just a broken game. And there was really no excuse for them not to get it to the point that it's at because, like, one thing people need to remember, this game turned a profit in 24 hours. 24 hours of the game releasing in 2020, they termed profit from the production cost of the game. So there was no excuse for them not to fix it eventually. So I'm glad that it finally reached its point. It took a while, but hey, I mean, we're here. DLC's out, sequel's on the way, and I just hope they actually really do the sequel right and not go through this shit again. I don't think they will, man. This put them in lawsuits. This crushed them.
If this didn't, like, if the release of Cyberpunk 2077 did not teach them their lesson and they repeat the mistake, then
no hope.
It's like
no hope for them.
You can never count on a game that they make in the future ever being released properly.
Yeah. So you're saying I should get it 100%. Especially if you've never played Cyberpunk. It was, like I said, it was already a good game. It's a very good story, great characters, but now they've made it truly the game that it should have been. Like, this is what was, basically talked about for 10 freaking years before the game came out. Like, this is it. Like, this is, especially with Phantom Liberty coming out next week. I'd 100% play. It's a great game, phenomenal game. And there's so many new things that will be, all of it will be new to you, but like even for like me and John going through it, like there's a lot of new things for us.
Well, it's like I still never played the game since like the
release.
The release of the what was it, the Cyberpunk Edge Runners stuff that they added. I still never played it since that.
Yeah, same here.
Because I did a big content drop for that as well.
Yeah, I really haven't done that much of a playthrough. Really, since probably about 6 months after the game came out was the last time I started. I tried starting a second playthrough then, and I didn't finish it. But no, I mean, yeah, you should 100% play it. I'm looking forward to seeing any like different endings and stuff, because I know that's one thing they talked about with all the DLC stuff and 2.0 is like they said, if I remember reading it correctly, quote, "We promise to save V's life." So I'm curious what they're gonna do. To give different stories and stuff. Hey, as long as the hidden ending is still in there, I'm good. The hidden ending where you and Johnny can just solo the tower yourself and the difficulty scaled up to like 100. As long as that's still in there, I'm good, because I want to do that ending. I never got to do it because obviously you don't know it's there. It's a secret Easter egg that you have to wait like 5 minutes in game to unlock the ending possibility. So I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. But anyway, let's hop over to the Xbox stuff, because like I already said, this is, like I said, now I would personally consider this the biggest gaming leak in history, just because of the huge scale of it, the amount of confidential information that's involving an entire company and their entire future of their brand. Like, it's just baffling to me that this happened. And what's even more like just hilarious is that this was leaked by Microsoft, because when this was first going around, the first question that the first kind of finger pointing that was done is everyone was believing it was the court that did it. The court somehow leaked it by putting it on like the wrong website, not encrypting it properly or whatever. No, it was Microsoft. Microsoft fucked up and they uploaded it to a domain that it shouldn't have been to. They either fucked up or there was one very disgruntled employee that said, "Fuck this."
Oh, it's probably just somebody who, it's like, I mean, they probably have like it pulled up on their screen and it's like go to this monitor, not this monitor.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, the one thing that's important to know is that all plans have like surely changed, and even Phil Spencer, when he put out a statement about the leak, saying that he's like, "We're aware of them. We're disheartened that this came out the way that it did. We wanted to announce it on our own terms, especially because so much has changed internally." And these documents, they are very clearly aged, because like, let's say Bethesda's. There was a Bethesda leak involved with this for their entire like launch lineup of the next few years. It started in 2020 fiscal year. And obviously the dates in for these games were very clearly wrong. I mean, it had Starfield still slated for, I think, like 2021. It had Elder Scrolls 6 slated for fiscal year 2024. So, I mean, like, it's all dated information. But again, it does give you an idea about what is coming for the future. So, like, the first thing, and it even had a full-blown picture of it, is the Xbox Series refresh, currently codenamed Brooklyn, with the quote, "The most powerful Xbox ever, now adorably all digital." That's a weird headline. Now, I don't think all digital is adorable at all. But yeah, that's my opinion. John disagrees with me. John's an all digital guy.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird like how big the discrepancy between the X and the S right now is.
Yeah.
Considering that it was marketed as just kind of the digital version of it, where
Yep.
you were supposed to be able to do everything on it, and then it comes out like these days of people complaining about the restrictions they have of the S.
Yeah. The
So-
power restrictions.
Yeah, so it's nice that they're looking at it
Yeah.
and they're going to do something about it, but it's kind of disheartening for people who bought an S.
Yes.
Because it's like we were promised that this was going to be the exact same thing if you prefer digital,
Yep.
and now we know that it's 100% false.
Yeah, and it's also like with this Brooklyn, this this Xbox Series X refresh. It's also not like a cheap entry point like the S. This is, I will say, for a mid-gen refresh. While it's not a cheap entry point like the S, I am honestly impressed that they're keeping it at the same price. Because normally, as we see every generation, this mid-gen thing, Xbox One X, PS5, PS4 Pro, whatever, they're always like $50 to $100 more. This one is slated at $500, like the Series X.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason they can get away with that is because they're not replacing the X here.
Yeah.
This is replacing the S. In all actuality, when you look at it, because it's the all digital version, which
Yeah.
is the S. So they're not keeping it at the same price point. It's being increased by $150
Yeah.
because they may have X in the name here, but that's not the console that it's replacing.
Right. And that's a good point, because like you look at, I will say, like, you look at the specs for this thing, nothing really stood out to me except they're including a 2 terabyte hard drive. That's the biggest thing, because like I understand they have like improved power and stuff like that, and that's great. That is great from just a power standpoint, electrical bill standpoint, and various other aspects. But like in terms of like, the one conversation that the internet has had and we've had about like, the possibilities of these mid-gen refreshes for this generation is, what is the selling point? Because like the selling point for the last gen made sense. It was 4K. That made sense. But like, what was the selling point here? I don't see a selling point. Like,
Well,
it's the 2 terabyte hard drive. That's the big selling point for the casual gamer that's not like zeroed in on
Yeah.
like power and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, as far as
Calm down, Steve.
as far as like this being it's also a weird one, because normally when we get a mid series run of these consoles,
Yeah.
you're replacing everything. Like, it's a PS4 and you're going to a Pro, or it's an Xbox Series or an Xbox One and you're going to a One S or whatever.
Yeah.
Where there's a clear step forward that you're doing.
Yep.
Unless they're really hoping that all Series S owners just go and pick this up, I don't understand the point of this.
See, that's my mindset when I looked at the specs.
Because you're not changing out the X at all.
Yeah.
And
This is comparable to an X.
yeah,
Power
I
and
know.
all. Yeah,
I
that's
know.
why I'm
As
so confused
far
by
as
it. That's
as
why I'm
far
with
as
you.
this is the console. I mean, apparently this is going to be the console that we were told we were getting,
Yeah.
and now it's like, but now they're offering it at the same price as the other console, which is also weird, because I mean, the whole point of the lower price was supposed to, or the lower price point was to get away, like, you don't have to have the disk drive, you don't have to do all of that. Now it's the same price, and it's like, why? It's like, why would you get the digital version as opposed to the regular one?
Yeah.
There's no real reason for it, because it's like, you can get that one or you can get the. I guess the only reason would be availability. If like the disc versions were harder to get, or if people preferred having those, you would get the digital version. But I don't know, as someone with an S, unless they start releasing games where I'm not able to buy them on the S, and I would have to get this new X, there's no point to it.
Yeah, and that's how I feel as an X owner. I don't see any reason why I would ever even consider this.
Well, yeah. Well,
Because there's no power upgrade. There's no upgrade.
Well, again, that's what.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that's why I've been trying to
specify the S,
emphasize.
yeah.
This when it does release, this is not going to be for anybody that owns a Series X
Yeah,
already.
feels really directed at those.
If you
S
have
owners.
a Series S and want something that's more comparable to the X, this is going to be for you. Or
Right.
if you're considering getting an S or an X, and don't have an Xbox yet, this is also, it's like this is targeted at you. But for someone who already owns an X, there's no point to it unless you just want to have it.
Right. Exactly. Because like we're saying, it just doesn't have that leap like the other ones had. So I don't know.
Very weird price point as well.
It is,
because
yeah.
like we've said, just about every other like console that has a digital only version, the digital only version is always cheaper.
Yep.
And this is going to be the first time where it's not, and I don't like that precedent.
Yeah, I do too. This is set according to the documents, of course. Again, everything. Reminder: every piece of information that we're talking about is all subject to change. But it was a June fiscal year 2024 announcement with October fiscal year 2025 launch. So, what just for clarification, that means June of next year, October of next year, because Microsoft's fiscal year ends in June. That is the ending of their fiscal year, similar to how Nintendo's, I believe, ends in April. I think is the end of theirs and starts in May. Microsoft goes to the end of June. July 1st is the beginning of their new fiscal year, which is July 1st. It will be fiscal year 2025, leading to the end of June of 2025. So yeah, that means basically E3 time announcement, fall time launch next year. They also apparently going to be launching with the new Xbox controller, which I'm glad they're doing a newish controller, but I still don't see. I mean, there's a couple of newish things they're adding, like they're adding actual like speakers in it, trying to kind of imitate what PlayStation does.
You don't fucking need that.
I mean, you don't, but they're trying to imitate that.
I know.
I wish they would like come up with their own way for like the adaptive, triggers, because that's awesome.
Yeah,
like that's the selling point.
Here's the problem with the speakers and the controller: they're never great. So it's like they exist, but even like PlayStation controllers, they're okay at best with the speakers. It's never super clear. It's never the best thing ever. Well, did you just see it?
Steve's message. I just saw it in Discord.
Yeah, with Discord open, I just see those popping up at the top, and I was confused. I was like, what the fuck?
All he said was, I got to stop listening to you, and it shows a screenshot of him. He just bought Cyberpunk just now.
Oh.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah, it's like we don't. The problem is the biggest problem with trying to emulate or like take things from these other controllers. They're taking the weird aspects of it.
They are, yeah.
It's like we don't need the speaker in there. Next, you're gonna be trying to add a little fucking touch sensor on the button there. We don't need that. It's like we don't need that type of stuff.
Are you sure? We need that one touch moment in a game like God of War Ragnarok.
I waited for you to get to that point when you were playing through it, because you go through the entire game.
No,
and then
it's
single
touch moment.
Like the last little bit of it, it's like, no, you thought we forgot.
Swipe this. What?
But yeah, it's just one of those where it's like, I'm a fan of like iterating on controllers in ways that make sense. Mm-hmm. But we don't need to add all this extra nonsense to it.
Right. With this controller, I mean, like really the main things that I see is that, the haptic feedback, the speakers, accelerometer for gyro supports. That's cool. Rechargeable and swappable battery. That one's a W. I will say that one's a W. And the one of the new features is lift to wake feature, where you pick up the controller and it turns on. That's kind of cool. But also seems kind of annoying if you got a cat and it knocks your controller off.
I was gonna say it's also just kind of like if I go to move my controller, it's gonna turn on.
No, you gotta lift it.
Well, yeah, but it's like if you pick it up and move it around, it's
it'll turn on. You can probably disable it.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna give me. Also, I just realized when you said it, Xbox controllers aren't rechargeable.
Nope. Just the Elite.
I've been using PlayStation 5 controllers for so long, man.
Just the Elite.
Like PlayStation controllers have been rechargeable forever.
Yeah, I know.
It's the best aspect.
So, and I will also say with this controller, one of the other selling points is that it's like an improved build quality. They're basically copying the build quality after the two Elite controllers, but putting it on a cheaper controller level. So now there's essentially 4 entries of Xbox controller. There's the base entry with like the cheap plastic one. There's this one. There's the Xbox Elite Core, which is essentially the Elite controller without the paddles on the back. And I think that's it. just no paddles in the back. And then there's, of course, the Xbox Elite 2, which is the one with the paddles. But that's essentially what the step-by-step for their controllers. I think the Xbox Elite Core, I think that one's like $120. You know, the Elite 2 is $200, of course. So this one will probably come in at like maybe $100.
I think the Elite's still like 150.
Okay, 150.
It's still pricey because I looked at them recently.
Okay. Well, what's the Elite Core? Do you know? Is it 120?
I was trying to think because I mean, to be fair, I was looking at some of the special edition Elite controllers, and they're like, it's like their entry point was like 200.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's pretty much like the Elite controllers are somewhere around like 150. I'd say 150, 175 to be safe there, and the Elite 2s are probably 200.
Right. Let's see. Elite 2 controller. 180. 180 is the price. And then the core is $100. The different colors of core, like the red one and the blue one, I'm seeing those run up to like $120.
That may have been where I was looking. Okay. I don't look at base controllers anymore. I want some variation too.
Steve said he'll get a Scuff for 200 plus. Steve, believe it or not, I actually got a Scuff. I wasn't impressed. I still have it too. I didn't care for it. I did not like my Scuff. I still got it. I haven't used it in over a year. Elite is better in my opinion. Elite 2 is the best controller I have ever used. I love my Elite 2. It's so good.
But also probably have the opportunity to customize it through the Xbox. Like whatever their fucking thing's called. I bought one through it. I don't remember what it's called.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, new Xbox controller. Shout out to that. And then the next thing we had was let's see, what was it? Oh, the other model of the Xbox Series X, codename Ellawood. This target resolution is 1440p, 512 terabyte or 1 terabyte options. I don't know which one this is. This is either
doesn't make any sense because that should be 512 gig and that.
Gigabyte. Thank you.
Otherwise,
thank you.
That is a fucking monster.
Thank you for my typo. 512 gigabyte or 1 terabyte. Sorry. I don't know which one this is. This is either the handheld, because yes, there's an Xbox handheld they're working on, or it's the cloud box that we've heard rumors of for literally a year and a half. Just a small little white streaming box. I think it's even been teased in Phil Spencer's background, because every time Phil Spencer's on the screen in his office, people always dissect his background of his shelf because he always teases stuff, whether if he's teasing something to come or teasing like he's doing something now because he's put like Nintendo stuff up there or Sony stuff. He's like, oh, Phil Spencer's playing this. Like, he always messes with his shelf. And I'm pretty sure this streaming box, which I think was codenamed also at one point Keystone, if I remember correctly, so I don't know if this is the handheld that they're working on or a cloud box, but the handheld, that's fascinating. That Xbox is going to dive into an actual handheld, not just do mobile game with the cloud stuff, but an actual handheld device.
Is it true handheld or is it streaming handheld?
That's the question. Now, see, the picture of it looks just like a Steam Deck or a Switch.
Yeah, because wasn't that the question we had with fucking Sony's thing?
Yeah.
Was if it was going to be... Well, it ended up being everything that we said it shouldn't be. That it's like that one did. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm a fan of handheld. I like being able to. It's like, yeah, I much prefer playing either on my monitors or on my TVs or that. But if I can just carry it away with me, go sit down in my recliner and lay in bed and play on it, I'll do that.
Oh yeah,
it's like I like the option to do it. It's like I'm much more likely to like play things that are in your ecosystem when I have the option to like play it however I want.
So with this handheld, I have a feeling that they're going to lean more like a cloud streaming device, kind of like the Sony one. And the reason why is because like this is like their first attempt at it, and I feel like they're just going to test the waters on it because it's going to help lead them up to the next thing, which is also part of this big leak. for Xbox fans out there, the next Xbox console apparently is going to be a hybrid gaming console similar to the Switch. That is according to all the documentation. So if that's the case, the next piece of hardware will truly be like a Switch or a Steam Deck or like really just a Switch where you can go from TV setting down and pick it up and play it on the go. For this device, the device itself looks like it's just a standard Switch or it looks like a Steam Deck, right? But I don't know. Like my gut tells me they're just gonna go whatever PlayStation's device is. I don't know. I hope not, but that's just what my gut tells me they're gonna do.
Man, here we are like a couple months ago getting exciting that some like handheld stuff's gonna be coming back.
Yep.
And then we start getting the news of it actually happening, and it's like, fuck, man, why couldn't you make a good one?
Yeah, I know, right? Sony with theirs, which was a huge disappointment, and now
hopefully Microsoft, if they're smart, they'll make it. And if it's gonna be kind of like the same stuff Sony is, where it's like streaming and stuff like that, at least make it fucking cheap.
I just thought of something. Let's redact all the things I just said, similar to what they do in court, because you know what, with all these leaks and stuff, one thing that also came out is how just dead ass cock hard Phil is about wanting to buy Nintendo. This handheld they're going to launch, assumingly next year, it's going to be a native device. I'm calling it now. He's going to emulate the Switch on this. I'm dead ass determined. He wants Nintendo so bad.
I know what this thing is. This is just a Game Pass device.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is the Game Pass device.
This is made. You're gonna buy this, and it's gonna come with 6 months of Game Pass.
Yep.
Or
even a year of Game Pass.
And it's like the home screen is just gonna. It's immediately, instead of having a normal store, it's just gonna have the Game Pass like screen where you can scroll through everything on it.
Yeah.
That's all it's gonna be.
Yep.
That is the market for this. They're not worried about people being able to play whatever game they want to on it. Just whatever's on Game Pass is what you get. That's my prediction.
I mean, I can see that. I feel like they would hurt themselves by not letting people access a library that they've purchased. But I mean, I do see your point there, because I mean they're trying to put Game Pass on everything. I mean, for God bless, I think you can play Game Pass on a smart fridge.
Yeah. The problem with giving people access to it is the vast, like, you have to limit your handheld in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
So if it's on Game Pass and you have the ability to like cloud stream it and stuff like that, that makes sense. Being able to access your entire library of games is gonna get a bit iffy, because I mean there's people out there that have thousands of games downloaded to it. It's like that alone, like having to be able to scroll through that list would probably bog this thing down, because I'm not expecting too much power out of this thing.
Yeah. I mean, its target resolution is 1440p, so they're already doing better than the Switch. So, I mean, it sounds like they're hitting the power of the Steam Deck.
Hey, give Nintendo some credit. It's only 2023. They haven't, I mean, what was it, like 2018 before they discovered HD?
Yeah, I know. They're getting there. They're getting there.
They'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they'll get to good resolution when everybody else is in like 4 and 8K.
Yeah.
It's like, and we're already mostly there.
Right.
But so they'll get there at some point.
Yeah. No, they will. This thing is also set for a June fiscal year 2024 announcement and set for an August fiscal year 2025 launch. So again, August of next year for this launch is the current release that they're looking at, and while the other thing is set for October. And honestly, while Phil said, "Oh, plans have changed," this is something that I could see the plans not changing on, because they know Sony is planning something, next year as well for a mid-gen refresh. We've already kind of seen we saw the fucking leaked videos of it. We know that's coming. You know what I mean? So like that all being next year, that all makes perfect sense to me. I am very excited to see the announcement of this handheld, because I just hope it's a native thing. I hope it's a Steam Deck or a Switch and not this dog shit thing that the portal that Sony launched.
No. Game Pass only.
Calm down.
It's gonna.
I mean, well, let's be real. Even if it is Game Pass only, that's still pretty cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's still a win.
It's going to be a device dedicated to being able to play Game Pass, kind of wherever you want to, and it'll come. Like I said, it'll come when you buy it. you get 6 months to a year Game Pass with it, so that it's like you can just play it with your heart to your heart's content. I don't if it's native, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
But with how much they've pushed Game Pass in the last couple years and how aggressive they're getting on day one Game Pass, what better way to just show off like how dedicated they are to that concept than to go, here's this. This is all you need to play anything on Game Pass.
Yep.
I mean, how much easier can it get than just buy this thing, turn it on?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm hoping it's going to be that. I really do. Because like an Xbox handheld, I think that would slap in today's day and age thanks to Game Pass.
I mean, a Sony true handheld would slap.
It
in this
would
day
slap.
And age. Problem is they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't realize that. They're not trying it. They're doing dumb shit with the stupid Portal. God damn it. Next up, we did have the Bethesda title release schedule. Again, this is all incorrect due to basically COVID. You know, the 2020 year kind of shifted every game release. But Oblivion Remaster was on there. So Oblivion Remaster has been, this was leaked out and rumored like within the last 2 months, I think. This has been in the works essentially since 2020, essentially. Doom Year Zero, new game there. Okay, even getting DLC. I guess we'll see an announcement for that maybe next year. Project Cholesterol and an expansion. No idea what that is, but it's got to be a big deal if it's got an expansion. Whatever Project Platinum is, a Fallout 3 remaster. That's pretty cool.
You know, this is kind of cool to see because some of these games, like the Oblivion, the Fallout 3, these are games that as we were growing up, everyone around me talked about and loved, and like they all played the shit out of.
Right.
Everybody loved these games. Everybody looked back fondly on these games. This is before I had a console to play them on.
Right.
Because by the time I got one, nobody was talking about them anymore, and it was the day and age of multiplayer, or like the heyday, golden age of Xbox multiplayer. So I haven't gone back and played these games. So a remaster, I'm actually pretty excited about.
I'm excited about a remaster for both of these, man. Oblivion's my game.
Well, yeah, that's what
I prefer Oblivion over Skyrim, and then Fallout 3. I enjoyed it, but I didn't get like deep into it like a lot of people did.
Oh yeah, it's like some of these are the games like people look back on these like, as some of their favorite games from that time period. And they're just ones that I missed. So them coming back, especially as a remaster, where it'll be a little bit nicer though. It's like sure there'll be some quality of life stuff added into it. It's like I'm excited about that because these are games that I've thought about going back and playing, but with having played the newer iterations of the game, it's kind of hard.
Right.
It's hard to go backwards.
No, I totally get it. Because that's how I felt on numerous games of my past, is that it's kind of tough to go backwards on certain games. A couple things here to shout out in chat. Steve asked, what platform do I play Baldur's Gate 3 on? I have it for PC. Have not played it recently because I've just been busy. I do want it for PS5 though. I saw that you said you were installing it on PS5 right now. I do want it for PS5, and so does my girlfriend. My girlfriend's dumped a lot more time in a Baldur's Gate 3 than me. She's playing it on PC right now and she loves it. But I know she told me she does want to play it on PS5 as well. So I will be getting it there at some point. And he also said, so I'm in the minority here, but I do not like Fallout at all. I don't dislike Fallout, but here's a little fun fact for you, Steve. Me, Zach, and John, we were all in complete agreement when we made our top 50 games that we did for episode 50 when the show was previously under a different name. We all were all under agreement that Fallout did not have to be on that list, and Jared tried to fight us on that so hard. Well, we're not huge Fallout fans, but we don't dislike it per se.
It's like I said when we were like, I think it was last week when we were talking Starfield.
Yeah.
Is Bethesda games are Bethesda games. You're gonna have the same base game structure, layout, and playthrough that you do. It's the flavor that's added onto it. Do you prefer the apocalyptic setting or do you prefer the sci-fi setting? Personally, the fantasy setting has always stuck with me better.
Me too.
I am much more likely to play games that are in a fantasy setting than an apocalyptic setting. Not to say that I don't like those. It's like those type of games, I still love them. It's like Fallout, I've just never really given a shot. Mostly because the two that everybody looks back on as two fantastic games, Fallout 3 and New Vegas, as stated before, kind of missed those when they came out. And then it's like going back on them, it's much easier to go back to a game that you have good memories about than going back to it and having to see it for what it is.
Yeah. He also said he does not like Skyrim. He loves Oblivion, but don't care for Skyrim. You know, I love Oblivion, but I'm not saying like, oh my God, I love Oblivion. Like, it's a very good game. I've had a lot of fun on it. But like the problem with Oblivion not Oblivion. The problem with Skyrim for me, I have never had a single character that I have just stuck with and have just loved it. Like, I think the most hours I've ever put into a single character is maybe only like 50 to 60 hours, and I'll restart again. Like Oblivion, like I made multiple characters for Oblivion, but man, Oblivion was the one where I had a character with like 1,000 hours.
I have the opposite problem because in Skyrim, I have a hard time going back to it now because I did one character that I did everything on. And you saying you only put like 50 hours into a character. Hell, I almost did that in the first 3 days the game came out.
True.
Because remember, we got the game and then went over to, I think it was Jared's place and played it all day.
Yeah, the entire weekend.
And it's like, I think that first 24 hours after the game played out, I played it for 20 hours.
Yeah.
But it's like Skyrim, I knew I was going to love it beforehand. I watched everything. I played the fuck out of that game.
Yeah. No, I mean, over time as a collective, I've played the fuck out of Skyrim because I've done so many characters.
But like for me, all that time
was one character.
Is one character. So your Oblivion experience is my Skyrim experience.
100%. Man, I love Oblivion. I love WoW, but I also can't stand ESO. Man, I wish I would love an ESO. I really wish I'd like it. I really wish I would like ESO, man.
It's okay. ESO.
It's gotten a lot better.
ESO for me. Skyrim for you.
Okay. All right.
Every time I go to play that game, I make a new character. I play them to about the same point, and then I stop. And I don't know why, because I have fun while I play them, but I just don't continue it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Every time there's a new expansion coming out for ESO, and I've said it on the show multiple times, I always say, man, should I try ESO again? And John immediately will time it. No, just don't.
No. We've given it enough tries. We know it's not for us.
I wish it was, but for some reason it's just not, and I wish it was.
Yeah. I've been having that itch for wanting an MMO again.
Yeah,
I want one so bad. I want an MMO to play so bad, but I don't. I can't find one that I want to play.
Yeah, maybe Ashes of Creation if that ever comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play that when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ashes of Creation whenever that comes out eventually, one day. Last two titles that was on the Bethesda release schedule was a Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, which I think Zach would be excited for, and Dishonored 3.
I was gonna say, good for you, Ghostwire Tokyo.
No, I agree. Good for Ghostwire Tokyo, man. And then Dishonored with a third game.
Yeah,
Shout out to that.
I mean, Dishonored, beloved franchise for people.
Yeah,
Ghostwire Tokyo feels like that game came out and then like nobody remembers.
Right.
For the most part, that one, I don't remember when it came out. I don't remember it getting talked about a whole lot.
Yep.
But everybody loved it apparently.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's played it, has enjoyed it. It doesn't get talked about.
I played the first game on the 360. I enjoyed it. I never played the second. Dishonored 3. Shout out to that as a thing. And then some other random facts came out of this. I swear to Christ, this first one better be true.
No, I'm
fed up. I'm fed up about this.
Remember, we've already heard this isn't happening.
I know. I'm fed up about this. I'm so mad about
Nobody
this.
needs this.
Yeah, everyone needs this.
Why?
Play
it on PC.
No. Apparently, a Red Dead Redemption 2 Next Gen update was mentioned in all the court documents. This better fucking happen. This is a top 10 selling game in gaming history. Come on.
But
just
you know what?
Do the update.
You know what it's not? GTA 5.
I know. Okay, I know. And then again, I already mentioned this. Phil really wants Nintendo. He called if he could buy Nintendo, it'd be a career-defining moment, which it would be. But once again, he hit up Nintendo about this, and Nintendo essentially laughed him out of the room, similar to Nintendo laughing Microsoft as a company out of the room back in 2001.
Oh, yeah. It's Nintendo going, bitch, do you know who we are?
See, here's what blows me away about Phil reaching out to Nintendo about this. He reached out to them in 2020 when the Switch is at like record profit heights. Like, let me stress this. At no point in history would he be able to approach Nintendo and they wouldn't laugh him out of the room. But at least in timing, it would have made more sense to hit them up in the Wii U era, where it's just like, hey, are you guys interested in being bought? I see that you're sucking ass. But like you hit them up in like profit period for the Switch. Like, why would they even consider it? You know, I don't know. Timing was weird to me.
It's like the equivalent. I mean, this is basically Phil is sending a blank check over to Nintendo
Yes,
and just
he
saying,
really is.
and just going, just fill it out.
Just write your number.
It's like write
don't care what it
write
is.
your number on there. We're Microsoft.
I don't care what the number
And
is.
then Nintendo just like sends him they just like send him a message on his phone or an email or something of them just laughing while ripping it in half.
Yeah.
It's basically what's happening.
It really is. Like, he is desperate at this point, because that is the best way to describe it. He's literally just pushing a checkbook over with his signature on it. He's like, just write something down. I do not care.
Yeah. He's like, just put whatever number would make it happen. I'll hold on to this until it can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, Elder Scrolls 6 won't release on PS5, according to the documents, which we've talked about, where it makes too much sense to release it on PS5.
Well, I interpret that differently.
See, yeah, okay,
I
that's
interpret that as it's not coming out in time to be released on PS5.
fair. Okay, that's fair.
It's like it won't be released on PS5 because we're going to be in a new generation when that game comes out.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
I mean, that's a fair point. That's a very fair point. This game is not coming out this generation. It's coming out.
This game isn't. We're not going to see we haven't even gotten a name for the game,
Yep.
and they showed a title card of it. What was it 2 or 3 years ago?
Oh God, 2019.
Yeah, it was,
maybe.
It may have been.
When was the last
it
E3?
Was
2019 the last E3?
It may have been.
Then yes, it was 2019.
It was either 2019.
The last big E3,
Yeah.
I think, was 2019.
So 4 years ago, we got a title card of them basically saying, "Yes, we're going to work on it after Starfield." Starfield just came out. They're still working on Starfield. This game, we're not getting anything on this game for 3 years. 3
Yeah.
years, we might get a title.
Yeah. Kind of similar to Metroid Prime 4, where for the Switch.
Yeah.
You got a little JPEG.
Yeah.
You got the
And
title card.
It's like unless they've
That's
been
a different story though.
unless they've been working on this behind the scenes, we're 5 years out.
Yeah, easy. You know, they've it's just now entered like the early production.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the likely scenario. It's gonna be, I'd say an early release or like an early release for Elder Scrolls 6, whatever it would be like 2027.
Right. Steve says Nintendo is losing market share on a consistent basis. Within 10 years, they will sell it to Sony or Microsoft. So I don't think that's accurate. While now they've seen a decline in sales and stuff, which can affect some market shares as well. Like they've been smashing records for like this entire generation.
Yeah, it's, I mean, at this point, the problem is they might be losing a little bit because they're not selling as much. The problem at this point is every household has 2 to 3 Switches.
Yeah. 5 million copies sold per year for the last 3. I don't think that's accurate either. Like I'm pretty sure it's well beyond that because it's the 3rd highest selling console in gaming history.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that's front loaded.
Yeah, it is very front.
A lot of that's front loaded, and then 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, for sure. No, I mean they're still like smashing records. I mean it's just literally just this past year alone they have finally started to decline. Like the decline has been noticeable for like the last 2-3 years, sure, but like it hasn't been a steady decline until this year.
Yeah.
Like we are truly at the tail end for the Switch.
There's a reason why every game that comes out has been getting a Switch, like a Switch dock and everything released with it. It's because they need to get rid of them.
5 million decrease per year. Okay, yeah. See that's more fair. Like again, the decline is there. Like no one's gonna argue the decline. But
yeah, but when you go from selling 25 million last year to 20 million this year, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean you're still printing dollars. Especially again, they're the the Switch is still right now the third highest selling gaming console in gaming history. The only things that it's behind is the DS and the PS2. And it may end up catching the DS, honestly. And then once the new console launches next year, that thing's gonna fucking explode in sales.
Yeah, it's gonna. I will say we're gonna have Nintendo's gonna have a stranglehold on top best-selling game consoles of all time.
Yeah,
because it's like it's gonna be PS2, and then the
Nintendo,
rest of the top
Nintendo,
10 is gonna be Nintendo.
basically, because it's like PS2, DS, Switch. I think PS4 might be 4 right now.
It's up
4
there.
or 5. I know PS4 is really high. But yeah, Nintendo. I mean, I think the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, one of those is up there.
Game Boy Color is way up there.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, like they're just printing units.
Although they might count. I think they just call it Game Boy.
I think
I think that's how it gets so high.
Yeah, just the family. Yeah, they consider it just the one big family, so it's kind of cheating, but whatever.
Well,
It makes sense.
Do they separate DS and 3DS?
Yes, they do
Okay,
separate.
that
those.
would make sense.
Yeah,
because
those
there
are
was a long time
separated.
between that.
Yeah, those are completely separated. But I think Game Boy is Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and then Game Boy Advance is separate. I think that one's separate. But either way, and then the last thing I already mentioned, Xbox Next Console as a hybrid gaming platform, which I think would be an interesting direction for them to go. I mean, I'm here for that. Hopefully, they absolutely nail it out of the park. But with hybrid gaming consoles, it's strictly going to be like console, like sitting on your couch and like portable, like handheld, or are they even going to maybe include like a third option, like a VR option or something? I don't know.
I mean, here's the problem with like these hybrid consoles that people are going to want to start moving to because of the fucking Switch. Because the Switch is great.
Yeah.
The problem is going to be battery life.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has sorted out battery life yet.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, because you can't.
Switch is okay. Steam sucks. That's where we're at on it.
It's one of those where, I mean, as soon as somebody finds a battery that can last more than like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
or something, they're going to dominate the market.
True. Which, let's be real, I wouldn't shock me if Xbox is the one to do it. But then again,
That's probably why they're thinking about it.
They found a way to
Bill's
dominate it.
obsession with Nintendo.
Yeah. Which, we'll see if the next Nintendo, the Switch 2, whatever, we'll see if that ends up dominating in the battery category. We'll see if they figured it out for that.
Probably not, because
they got better. I mean, the Switch OLED and the Switch Red Box, like those are good batteries.
It got better, but
It's still not good.
The
but
big
it's better.
thing with the Switch upgrade that we're gonna do, Switch 2, whatever it's gonna be, the big thing that they cared about with that is, fuck, we got to make this thing more powerful.
Yes. Which that's gonna be the big deciding factor on how much that battery's gonna last. Like, if it's in comparison of a Steam Deck, oh buddy, oh buddy, how much is that actually a handheld?
Yeah, you can walk around with it in handheld as long as you're within reach of the socket with a cable.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel like what would be really funny is that if that is actually the battery life, it's like a Steam Deck and Nintendo launches a Nintendo themed and licensed portable battery. Like, that would be like, that's just them openly admitting, yeah, we can't do better than this battery, guys. Just make sure you have a portable one on hand just to dock it in and charge it, whatever. Wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a thing.
Yeah. Basically just like those big battery banks that we already have.
Yeah,
And it's it'll just be Nintendo branded, or it'll have some sort of like
A Zelda
licensing
one, a Mario
deal.
one,
Yeah, it's like you'll have all your different ones. They'll be twice the normal price because of the characters that are on them.
Exactly. And they're going to sell. That's the worst part, is they're going to sell like hotcakes, dude. But that's essentially the big Xbox leak in a nutshell. So, John, just general thoughts. I mean, we've kind of already talked about that, the whole thing, but it's like, I guess, closing statement thoughts on all of this. Like, let me ask you, do you agree with what I was saying? That do you think this is like the biggest gaming leak in history now? Because in my opinion, yes, this is a lot of confidential information.
I don't know if I would call it the biggest gaming leak. I would call it the biggest hardware leak.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a good way to differentiate this than the video leak.
Yeah.
Because the video leak is unreal.
Because it's like that I classify more as gaming.
Yeah.
This is game hardware.
Okay.
Is how I would say it.
I think that's
I
very
would
fair.
separate the two, because comparing game leaks to hardware leaks it's a completely different animal.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, as far as a hardware leak, there's no question that this is the biggest leak that we've had.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting next year to see what they actually announce, and if all of this is still their plans, or if like these individual pieces, like if they've seen reception of where it's like maybe they were moving in the way of doing what Sony did with their handheld thing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
see people kind of being like, "What the fuck?" and they go, "Let's make a little change to it."
Yeah.
So they've got the time still before announcing it to make some small alterations to stuff.
Yeah. Steve said maybe I'll buy a next-gen Xbox when Brooklyn or whatever comes out next October. If it all stays to schedule, next October you can get the adorably all digital Xbox Series X Brooklyn, whatever they're gonna officially call it.
I don't care what, like, if it's hybrid consoles. Let's just not make them as big as the PS5.
All right, yeah, big agreement on that. That thing is
Even
it's
even
a pain
on
in
its
the ass
even
with how big
on
it
its
is.
side, it's still
huge.
big.
Like, dude, that thing is massive. Like, come on, can we like? I know there's a lot of tech in there. It's basically like, can we figure this out? I mean, please.
We can make it's like we can make them a little smaller. They don't
Yeah.
gotta be that big.
Also, you said on its side, it made me think of something with the Brooklyn. Do you think it's kind of weird that they're going with like that cylinder shape because they are committing that this thing has to be stood up? You can't put this thing on its side. Like, I think that's a weird design choice.
Yeah.
You are hard committing for this thing to stand up.
Yeah, and then I mean, just do it. We just do what we do with the PS5. You just go on Amazon. Someone will make a little stand for it where you just put it there, and it's like while you play it, it can roll.
Yeah, you can just roll around like a pig over a fire. I kind of dig my Kaiba statue under my TV. I mean, that's fair, but it's big. It's big. Like, can we? I don't know. We'll see whenever the next thing, the PS5 refresh, whatever. Well, I'm curious how big that thing's gonna be. I mean, we saw a video, sure, but I want a side by side. I want a side by side shot. I want a comparison. I want to know the difference between these things. All right, so let's hit the next couple topics. We're over an hour into the show now. So Payday 3, haven't got a chance to play it more, but the one thing I was going to ask you about is I saw an article where the CEO has apologized with how flawed the launch is. What the hell is going on?
Okay, so
I'm out of the loop on this.
I've been watching it because I was fully intending to buy Payday 3 immediately and start playing it.
Yeah.
I got home from work and clicked on the Steam page and was greeted by overwhelmingly negative reviews for this game. And it's not because of the game necessarily. The problem is the game is always online. It's online for everything. You want to queue into a solo match and not look for people, you gotta go through a matchmaking queue.
Okay.
Because everything is online.
So full online game. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of
it's fully online, and the servers have been down very frequently since it's come out.
Okay, so that explains the apologies then. Because I even saw something else where the CEO said, the online thing was a big mistake. That's all the context was. And I'm like, what's the big online
they
thing?
basically
Pure online?
They've basically made it where you cannot do anything in the game offline.
Okay.
So if you want to queue by yourself and just run with some AI, you got to be online. You want to queue with it's like you queue with people online. Everything is online. Also, at least on Steam, people have also been like in their negative reviews have been throwing out the fact that you have to create an account to a third party. Like you have to create a third party account to play the game as well. So like similar to like 2K games where you have to have the 2K account and stuff to play it. You have to do that. I don't remember what account it is, but you have to create one to be able to play the game. But yeah, it's just the fact that the game is always online and the servers have not been online. There were more people playing Payday 2 earlier.
Ooh, that's bad. That's not a good sign. That's like the same level of when WWE 2K20 came out and they were basically refused to play it. Everyone went back to the other one. It's like that, basically.
Yeah. It's been a shit show. Release nightmare. It's like, from what I've seen, people were complaining about because they're going from 10 years of Payday 2 with like a crazy amount of content to a fresh start game that the servers aren't working for.
Steve said, "Don't you have to have a third-party account for Baldur's Gate 3?"
I don't think you actually have to create the account for it. It opens up a window where you can create the account. Or it has a third party launcher that it opens up as
Yeah,
well.
because
You can create
it sends me to the third party launcher.
yeah, you get a launcher with it where you can create an account where you can just have all of the games stored there.
Yeah,
But you don't have to create an account.
yeah. And when it comes to the Payday 3 thing, I think just the fact that you can't do literally anything offline is where it's like kind of the killer right now.
Yeah, it's
Because the servers have been dog shit.
people haven't been able to really play, and I mean I mean one of the things I was excited about with the game is the game's $40. It's cheaper than everything else coming out right now. But like people are understandably mad that they spent the money for it and then they cannot actually play the game.
Yeah. And the thing is, you've specifically talked about this before, and I think you've talked about it with, I think when you were beating your skull against the wall with Redfall. In a case like this, and granted, Payday's different because it's got the history behind it. You know, it's the third entry. People love Payday 2 and stuff. But in the day and age of gaming that we're in, if you're doing a multiplayer game and you come out and you can't stick that landing at launch, people are moving the fuck on. And is that essentially what we're dealing with here?
I don't think entirely.
Okay.
Because it's very likely that some people probably bought the game, tried to play it, and then sat there just like checking to see if the servers were back up and immediately refunded the game. That I'm sure there's a ton of people that have immediately refunded it, aren't gonna go back to it.
Yeah.
It was hey, this game's out. People, it's like it seems exciting. It's number one on selling on Steam. Let's go check it out. Oh, I can't play it. Game shit. Because unfortunately, when stuff like this happens, it's very true that first impressions matter with games. And if you go to play it and it's the servers aren't down, or you get into it, but you match make for 15 minutes to get in, and then it's laggy and buggy, you're not gonna think fondly on the game.
Yeah.
So when you come back the next day and look at your Steam library, why would you click on that game when you have such a bad experience with it?
True.
I think there's the history of it where when the servers are working fine, I think people will be willing to come back to it, but it's an ugly first impression.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate with what you said, where there's like 10 years of Payday 2 and all this content, and then this happens.
Yeah.
A game that a lot of people were excited for.
Considering Zach mentioned...
I know Zach was enjoying the game. He was messaging me about it earlier this week. I know he was enjoying it, but...
But yeah, well, he's also mentioned previously that they did a Payday 2 anniversary event, basically, like, I think giving skins and stuff, celebrating the death of the game with Payday 3 coming out, and then Payday 3 comes out, and it's a fucking dumpster fire. At least right now. The game, I haven't played the full game, played the beta, enjoyed what I played of it. So it's one of those where when you get in, the game's fun, and there's some new freshness to it, but you can't get to it. You can't play it is the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully they figure it out. That's a shit show. Just like Unity has been a shit show. We do have an update on the Unity situation where the CEO basically came out, or not the CEO, just one of the higher ups that's been with Unity forever, came out and apologized for what they've done. They've kind of they've changed their entire plan. Where basically, for anyone that wasn't following the situation last week, they made a big download install plan where it's like developers were going to have to pay for every single download and install for any games made with Unity. It's a big shit show, but they've changed it where like the Unity personal plan is going to remain free, no runtime fee. Earnings cap was increased from 100K to 200K. So if you do make a small game that doesn't really do anything, like and you're obviously a small developer, you're not fucked out of your pocket. The made with Unity splash screen requirement has been removed. There is no fee for games earning less than 1 mil in 12 months, and current games unaffected unless they update to the next Unity version. So that big question of like, is Unity going to go knock on Nintendo's door for like, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or like, Cuphead, or like Silk Song and all those, like where they get Fall Guys, where they all going to get screwed and stuff. So they made the right choice backtracking on the plan. But here's the question: is the damage already done beyond repair? Because in my mind, yes. In my mind, while they've done this because of the backlash, it's similar to when Xbox announced the Xbox One and said you always had to have an online connection. Had a massive backlash. Everyone went PS4. Xbox One was permanently hurt that entire generation. But now look with where we're going. Unity may be backtracking now because of the backlash, but like where they want to go. So while there's games like let's say Hollow Knight Silk Song, that's a good example because there's a sequel in development. I don't think that sequel is going to be made on Unity. The first game will stay on Unity because it just said it will be unaffected unless it moves up. But the guy who made Silk, he's moving on to another engine, in my opinion.
That's the problem. It's like
I feel like people are going to move on from this engine.
They've already shot themselves in the foot, and putting a Band-Aid on it isn't stopping the fact that you shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Because when they announced all these changes, think of all the developers that are out there, and they're like, well, fuck Unity. It's like we can't afford to keep using them with that. And I have already, it's like in the time it took like Unity to come out and like try to backtrack and come up with something that they thought would make people a little more understanding, everybody's already mentally swapped away from them.
Yeah. So with this big plan announcement, seeing the comments on Twitter and stuff, like from developers, like indie developer stuff, everyone says like, okay, hey, this deal that you're putting out, this is a very fair deal for developers. Like, this is a good deal. So apparently it is a good deal, but again, everyone's already moving on. Like it's like you said, like while it's a good deal, sure, everyone's moving on though because they can't trust the developer. They can't. They can't trust Unity anymore.
Yeah,
Hold on. Steve said, dude, I can't stand you guys. I'm over here looking up Black Myth Wukong. What the fuck? Dude, Black Myth Wukong looks awesome. That's going to be an amazing game.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hyping that up for
3 years.
3 years
Yeah.
now.
That's going to be a great game.
That's one that like I was so surprised because I think you just offhand mentioned it one time, and I was like, wait, are you talking about this?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you saw that too. Yeah, that game looks awesome, dude. I'm so pumped. I love Wukong. I love Journey to the West. So this is one that I'm very excited for. But anyway,
that game looks so good.
Dude, it looks incredible. Every time we've seen it over the last 3 years, it just keeps looking better and better and better. And I'm so excited for next year. But anyway, what were you going to say about Unity?
I mean, the problem is, yeah, everybody's kind of mentally swapped away from it because it doesn't matter if you've backpedaled to a good deal. The problem is you've showed everybody
Your true
that
colors.
that what you really want is an extremely unfair deal. So getting people to continue using you by giving them a good deal isn't going to help when 3 years from now you backtrack again and go, actually, we're gonna reverse what we said and sign this new deal, or you can't use us anymore. Yeah. It's basically it just gives them the ability to, depending on how long of it like this deal goes on for.
Right.
It's like if you have to re-sign your license or something, they could just very easily like add a stipulation in there where you either have to like bump it up or pay. It's like start back paying.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where, regardless of good deal, you can't lead with a shit deal and then expect people to be happy when you backpedal.
Is this the death of Unity? Because in my opinion, it is. I think we're going to see a slow bleed out.
I mean, death in the sense of like a lot of people are going to be swapping away from it. Yeah. Sure. Death entirely, no, because this is still this is still going to be fantastic for indie devs in particular.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So like,
that's fair.
Indie devs in particular are almost not affected unless it's a game that like
pops off.
Unless it's a game that like pops off by either just being fantastic or a big name plays it.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes and buys it. There's no worry there because they'll still be able to make their games and not have to worry about like any of these changes.
But one thing's for certain, we ain't gonna see these big companies use it anymore. Yeah, whoever, I don't remember the company that made like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, they ain't using that shit again. They moving on to Unreal or something. Like, let's be real. Nintendo has been getting more, have been having their studios get more into like Unreal though, because like Pikmin 4 was made with Unreal Engine 5.
Oh yeah.
So I think for the bigger companies, I think we're going to start seeing Unity kind of be kind of shafted in that regard.
The other thing is a lot of like a lot of bigger developers have already been working on their own engines.
That's true. Like we've got the Red Engine, we have Frostbite Engine, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it's like we've said before, it's like there are plenty of developers who've created or are currently improving upon their own engines. This is more for people that are they're making a lot of similar things, or they're not making anything super complex necessarily that needs them to customize it greatly.
right.
It's like Unity is a great it's great for like a one size fits all.
True. Well, that was the main talking points that I had. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to anything we chat about, or anything in particular that you wanted to shout out?
Not particularly. I did mention beforehand, or before the episode started. The only other thing I've been playing is I've just forgot the name of it.
Soul something?
Oh yeah, Soulstone Survivors.
There you go.
Soulstone Survivors had another update. It's basically they're just revamping and working on finishing out skills and adding additional powers and stuff like that. More crafting, or like more weapons to craft, more skill trees and stuff to finish out some of the characters who didn't get them last time because they were doing it in stages. So I've been playing that and enjoying it. It's a fun little. I mean, it's a Vampire Survivors type game,
Right.
but it's fun. It's fun to go into. It's a good 20-30 minute time killer.
Nice. I've still been playing, some TFT here and there. Mostly the mobile version. I'll play I'll play like a round of hyper roll at work, and that's about it. Like I haven't had time to play at home. I will say because I have kind of taken a little bit of a break from it. I did start playing Marvel Snap again. So but again, it's only at work. When I'm just kind of killing time. So
Yeah.
they have the Loki season pass out right now. Because Loki season 2 for Disney Plus is coming out sometime soon, which I'm very excited for that season. So I started doing some Marvel Snap again.
Yeah. I looked at TFT. Haven't jumped into the mid set.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'm enjoying it.
yeah, I do. I don't know.
Bilgewater's so busted. Dude.
I didn't
So
I didn't
busted.
particularly enjoy the current or the
I
set
agree.
that was there.
This is
much.
This is the most boring set there's been for me personally, but
So
I still
it's
found
like,
my fun with it.
Yeah, it's like I've had some fun with it, but I was like, maybe I'll try the mid set refresh, but I also might just wait for the next set and wait for something
Completely new.
Hopefully it'll be completely new, kind of just clean it out for
Right.
me.
Well, you got anything else? If not, we'll hit the weekly wrap up.
No, just it's like looking at stuff that I plan on playing in the near future. I think I mentioned to you beforehand. This is just I'm moving away from like I'm gonna still play like big new games,
Right.
or like Spider-Man when it comes out, stuff
Yep.
like that. I'm backpedaling a little bit. I'm going back to play game or replay through games, and this is the time to go back and play games that I dropped and see if it's time yet.
Yeah.
So, gonna be fun. Gonna be trying to do that.
So does that mean Forspoken is on that radar?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. Forspoken.
Because I mean, the DLC was free.
yeah.
So there you go. You got a DLC to play.
It's like Forspoken's there. Tales of Arise is there to go back and replay because it's got the DLC coming.
Hogwarts Legacy.
It's lower down on the list.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's lower down. On
Dude, this year has been so packed with games. I honestly forget that game came out this year.
Yeah, it's one. It's on the list, but it's not as high of a priority for me because, like, I want to go back and try to play Forspoken first, and then if I'm playing another game, I want to play Tales of Arise because it's got the DLC coming out, and it gives me an excuse to play it again.
The DLC no one expected to see.
And then I'm starting Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to go on vacation, so I will say the one thing that I'm planning to buy it next Friday. We'll see if I actually play it or not, because the only chance I'll have to play it is literally like when I'm driving down, when I'm not the one driving, is that I will probably try finally the Pokemon DLC Teal Mask. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it Friday, and my goal is to at least try to start it while I'm riding passenger at some point, because I'm doing the overnight shift of driving, and then that when we get somewhere past Atlanta, that's when I think she'll be driving, and I'm not trying to play in Teal Mask there. So we'll see if I actually play it. Josh has not been impressed. He's been playing it and beating his skull against the wall, bored out of his mind, but he's been playing it. So shout out to that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not like a lot of the other
Yeah.
DLCs where it's like it adds a replayability factor to it. It just
Yeah.
added a little bit of story.
Yeah, it just added some stuff.
It's like the last, what was it, Sword and Shield one that they had. They had like the low roguelite dungeon that you could go through over and over again for legendaries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At least that was replayable.
True. Get a bunch of legendaries, get a chance at a shiny for each one. Only once. But so that was cool. All right, let's hit the weekly wrap up. I already touched on Cyberpunk. It's had a true comeback story. Shout out to that. And then one thing that I thought was kind of funny, Division 3 was very casually announced this week.
Excited about that because
I knew you would be. I knew you and
but-
Zach both would be.
because I casually enjoyed Division. I played a lot of Division 2 when it came out.
Yeah.
But it was one of those where it was like it just it kind of had a slow content trickle to it. So it's like I played a lot of it and I really, really enjoyed it while I was playing it. But it's a hard game to go back to. But I've wanted to play it again, and I've been thinking, I'm like, man, it's they either need something new or a new game's got to come out soon because it's been that time.
Yeah. Well, new game in the works. Again, casually announced. It was just announced in like a freaking email or something. I don't know. Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name is coming to Game Pass day one. That's coming out later this November.
I mean, kind of expected, but very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Ace Attorney trilogy I saw was also coming to Game Pass next week as well. Lots of like Game Pass announcements out of Tokyo Game Show. There was nothing out of Tokyo Game Show that like really stole the show. It's just classic good stuff. You know, like a lot of announcements, a lot of Game Pass announcements of more gameplay on things people are excited for.
Yeah, I think I looked through it and watched like some gameplay trailers and stuff like that just to get an idea.
Yeah. Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake development is progressing quite steadily, which is good to hear because as of now, still no update on Dragon Quest 12. So this kind of hold people over a little bit.
Yeah, I mean we know it's coming.
Just
We know it's coming. It's just we're getting stuff to hold us over till then.
Yep.
And I mean, excited to hear that the remake is going well. I'll play it when it comes.
There's a new mod to Starfield that allows faster, seamless space travel. So the thing that we're kind of complaining about, where it feels like you're literally just sitting still and you're just rotating in camera, you can actually feel like you're flying through space, which they really should have done to begin with, because we're so far in the future that how could these ships not be able to just? They went to 2023 present day space travel for that, because this game's so far in the future.
I don't remember if it was you or someone else or like a video that I watched that was talking about it. Where
was it Alana Pierce going to Pluto?
No.
Okay.
This was more comparison based.
Okay.
Where the idea, I think it was a video where they were said the idea of look at how well they've done, where people are like comparing Starfield to No Man's Sky and talking about how they did planet exploration, how they did ship flying around in space and things like this, how they did all of that so well, and that they wish it's kind of how it was in Starfield. It especially like flying around as a ship.
Yeah.
Because currently, like you said, you can hit that engine as fast as you can make it go, and that,
And you feel like you're not moving.
Like the only indication that I had that I was going anywhere in space was the fact that I was able to target something and see the number getting closer.
Yep.
Couldn't fucking tell.
Yep. I agree. So I'm glad that there is a mod out there. It's called Faster Than Light, if you're interested in checking it out. And I'm looking forward to the full mod support coming across the board, like for console, because obviously I am playing Starfield on console preferably. So when the full mod support comes out from Bethesda, this is something that I could check out on console. Anyone could check out on console and just make the game better. So that's great. Spider-Man 2 has gone gold. I already mentioned that earlier, but I just still want to shout that out because I'm so damn excited for this game. And the last piece of news I got here, which I saw come out literally 5 minutes before we started the show, Cameron McGonaghan, who stars as Cal in the Star Wars Jedi games, has confirmed that Star Wars Jedi 3 is in the works. So, good to see.
Yeah, I mean, I
Hopefully it's not a shit show like the second one was when it launched.
haven't seen or haven't played through it. I don't really know how that game goes. Not surprised.
Yeah.
That game does. It's like that game does way too good for them to not make another one.
Yeah.
Whether it be like continuing on that story or something else.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing I'll end the weekly wrap up on, just because I don't know how this popped in my head. But one thing that I thought was interesting to come out, I think it was this past week. I think it might have been end of last week. I don't remember. But Titanfall 2 went on sale, as it always does. It's cheap as shit now. You can get it for $5 or less. A lot of people jumped on and played it and stuff. And the interesting thing is Titanfall 2 got updates. Like, there was updates to game servers and stuff. And even there was like in the patch, like in the data mining, there was even like a game mode of question marks that wasn't there before. So man, I don't know. I just thought that was pretty cool because I'm still gonna hold on to that sliver of hope that Titanfall 3 could be a thing one day.
Well, I think the idea is that they would love to make it.
I think they would.
It's like they would love to make it, but it's kind of the thought of why would they?
Yeah, and EA was just like, you have Apex. Just
yeah,
keep
it's like
working on
why would you take the manpower away from Apex to make anything else?
Yeah. I wish the Titanfall 3 would be a thing, man. I really do. Because apparently, like, even after the update, like, there's, like, some more Titanfall 2 little Easter eggs that they just added to Apex recently. So it's just like, come on, man. Let's get a Titanfall 3. Titanfall is so much fun. Like, I love to see Titanfall 2 still having life and people jumping on and playing the game every time it goes on sale. You got anything else?
Nah.
All right, hit the music. We're going to get out of here.
All right, if you made it to the end of the video with us, thank you very much. And if you enjoyed your time here and want to see us do it again, we usually do these Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, but we will not be here for the next 2 weeks. But after that, we will be back.
Yeah, we won't be here for the next 2 weeks because I'm a lazy bum and I'm going on vacation. But yeah, we'll be back on October 14th around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Whatever we're going to chat about, do a quick little recap of the previous 2 weeks. Even knowing our luck, the coolest shit in the world is going to happen in these next 2 weeks. It is what it is. We'll chat about on the 14th. But hey, Sparky 3 still continues on because even with these next 2 weeks, a terrible football show will still be going on every Tuesday around 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you are a football fan, college or pro, come over, check it out with us, come chat with us.
Yeah,
we have
Alex
a good time
just
over
likes
there.
that show more.
That's not true. That's not true. Okay. That show's just it. This is the only time of year we have content. Okay. This is it.
I just knew that would get you riled up.
This is it. But make sure to also check out Rogue Energy. Use the referral link down below, Agent Inc., all that stuff. See you in a couple weeks, guys. Bye.